Hello, everyone. So, as Paul was saying, my name is Brant Richards. I am the managing director from Genesis of Things. Genesis of Things is a spin-off of the Innogy Innovation Hub. Innogy is one of Germany's largest energy companies. And the Innovation Hub was tasked initially to find business models that employ disruptive technology to disrupt their own energy business. Had quite some successes, and the mandate was expanded into other areas. So we look primarily at technologies that we think can have a really disruptive effect on societies and how we can then build interesting businesses around them. What I think is very interesting about the technologies going on today, what we see is we have, of course, when I speak at a conference like this, I call it radical transparency. The way that I speak about it a little bit more off the cuff is I say privacy is dead and that everything is out there in the world and you can see it if you are smart enough to find it. Of course, decentralization, both for efficiency reasons, democratization reasons, and let's just say and technological reasons, because it can happen. But what I'm most interested in, and this is what we'll talk a little bit about today, is I think that the real interesting parts are where multiple technologies come together, what we're calling a convergence of various technologies. In particular, I'm going to talk about blockchain and additive manufacturing. And I think that what we're seeing is the world where IT and OT are meeting, where you can connect the digital world to the physical world, and we're trying to find new strategies for what that means and for both societies and also for developing products. In the manufacturing industry, we see all kinds of AI, we see additive manufacturing, we see distribution of production, and also smart products. And this is what the Genesis of Things project is really contextualized around. So additive, I will get to blockchain, by the way. Additive manufacturing, interestingly enough, is now moving into a place where it's really becoming more industrialized. So maybe in 2003, only about 5% of the parts that were made were for real end use, and the rest were what I call rapid prototyping or consumer tchotchkes and trinkets. But now, actually, the technology is reaching a place where you can really make industrial parts. And we see the big players like GE and Siemens taking multiple billions of euros and dollars in their hands for R&D and investing in actual production machines. But the innovations available are not really getting to other parts of the industrial system because they don't have the capital or they don't have the time to invest a lot of time and money to invest in research and development to find out what machines they need, etc. Basically, the Genesis of Things project is trying to address this. So we're bringing some of the innovations that are coming from distributed production or additive manufacturing to small and medium-sized enterprises by putting together a platform to share various additive manufacturing assets. But when you're sharing assets and when you're sending your IP to someone else to produce it for you, then there's a number of issues that come up that we think we can apply blockchain technologies to solve. These are issues around trust in where the files are going to be stored, trust in the actual transactions. In the additive manufacturing industry, as I said, it's come to a place where quality is increasing, but there's still quite an open loop process of actually producing parts. So there needs to be trust in how the parts are made at the post-processing, etc. So we're trying to develop new ways of dealing with IP, new ways of tracking transactions, and as well, new ways of financing. And this is what the Genesis of Things project is all about. So we're building a decentralized manufacturing world in which everyone's rights are securitized, everyone's rights are protected, I should say. So we like to talk about this concept of a trust tax. So when you're interacting with various individuals, today we have lawyers and accountants and quality control, and we believe that we can put in place a set of technologies to remove the need for all of this and allow really for decentralized sharing of assets. On the platform, customers can find the best printer for their needs. This could be the one that's closest to their location, the one that prints with the materials they need, the one that's managed by a supplier that they have a relationship with. They can send the file directly into the printer without any human access, so no one can copy it. You can think of it kind of like a Snapchat for 3D printing. They can then tag the product during the production process and link then the product back to the digital world and store a registry of it on the blockchain that they can then later use in product lifecycle management, provenance, and warranties situations. And finally, then you can manage the entire transaction process with smart contracts. So how does it actually work? There's a digital product definition that's made by designers that also have access to the platform, or industrial design within companies. Then we have virtual testing and validation before we distribute it in encrypted storage. Then when a product is ordered, there's a selection algorithm sending the file metadata. And at this point, once they pick the printer, smart contract is created. Transaction finance can come in. I'll talk about that in a second. During the production and post-processing, we do virtual testing and validation of the actual process so that it meets the digital product definition. And then the tagging happens where, at this point, we're simply recording everything that has happened in the value chain up to date and storing it in what we call the digital product memory. So we're working with two types of technology. On the one hand, we're doing production security and quality control with IoT sensors and chip cryptography to securitize the machines. And then all of the file security and transaction automation and tracking we're doing on the blockchain. We have a central, or I should say a cloud-based platform that's connecting then to client gateways at all of the participants in the platform. And the ones that then connect to physical assets like production machines also have an IoT gateway. So I already spoke a little bit about Innogy as one of our main funders. But because we're developing a number of actual physical assets that we think need to be securitized, we're also working with Commerzbank, which is one of Germany's largest banks, and developing what we're calling pay-per-use product, whereby Commerzbank will take the financial risk, put the asset at the location of the print farms with the various technologies we need to securitize the network, and then pay it back through the use on the platform and track all of this with the distributed ledgers. The IP registry, transaction registry, it's all done using BigChainDB. And the conversion from cryptocurrency into fiat currency is being done right now with a company called Xtech that the hub is also invested in. 3D Maker Zone is our first, what we're calling gold standard 3D print farm, where we're developing a lot of the technologies on the ground. They're located here in Haarlem. So the takeaway is we are building trust in the digital manufacturing industry with smart contracts and blockchain by providing third-party financing for both assets as well as for materials, secured handling of IP, and tagging and identification for product lifecycle, quality certification and checking, and of course then distributed and encrypted file storage. This is a very important one. So the IP is the most important part in the digital manufacturing part. And that's it. If you have any questions, I'll take them now.
Thank you.